Ever found yourself in a room full of people talking about CPMs, wireframes, dwell times, and just felt like the odd one out? Don't worry, we've all been there at least once in our careers. Even I have. In this video, we look at digital strategy, a 101-ish type of discussion on what it really means to be a digital strategist in the Caribbean. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Beckham, a digital strategist based in the Caribbean, and welcome to my pocket of the internet. I invite you to take in today's lesson as a primer of sorts. The definition and concept presented herein are by no means a golden rule. I do hope that by the end of the video lesson, you're inspired to investigate digital strategy on your own. So, to get started, I think it's important we look at a definition of digital. Here's my working definition. Digital involves the use of technology to improve business performance. In that definition, we get two clues to help us. One, the improvement of business performance, and two, the use of technology to facilitate that activity. Usually, people confuse digital marketing efforts with digital strategy. Now, digital marketing is an important pillar in digital strategy, and it deserves its own set of videos to explore those concepts. However, a digital strategy framework, in my opinion, is going to help you better understand how broad digital strategy really is, and the types of specializations that exist within it. Here is my digital strategy framework, and it includes content, development, advertising, and analysis. We'll briefly touch on these four areas of work in digital strategy, and in future videos, we'll deep dive into these concepts further. So stay tuned, hit subscribe, and click on the notification bell to receive updates on when we publish those videos. Let's start with content. Content is an investment in story. To tell a really good story, you need a strong message. And businesses that are able to define their strong messages know what they want. They have a clear set of goals that help navigate and guide them on delivery of that promise to their consumer. Strong stories in digital can take many forms. There are many digital media formats that businesses can leverage and take advantage of. So in order for us to tell good stories, we have to embrace digital formats fully. And we also must understand that these formats must act like paragraphs in an essay, or must act like chapters in a book. Each chapter facilitates the following chapter and provides exposition on what it is we want to share. Secondly, development. Development for me is an investment in virtual spaces. This can be a website, this can be an app, even a social media profile. Usually when we hear development, we are confronted with technical jargon, and this can intimidate a lot of people who are unfamiliar with digital strategy. You don't need to know the technical ins and outs of digital strategy in order to manage that process and workflow effectively. It is important, however, to know that when you choose a virtual space in which to establish your presence, you're doing so with a primary goal to engage with the consumers who already play in there. On to advertising. Advertising is an investment in visibility. Now, a lot of businesses put a heavy focus on advertising because of the dollar amounts they usually invest in that workflow. And with good reason too. It's a lot of money to spend. So you want to make sure that your return on investment is favorable. But while advertising is a critical component of digital strategy for any business playing in the digital field, it is by no means the main port of call for any digital strategy. It's important to know that. Finally, analysis. This is required review. I'm sorry, I don't have an investment tagline to give you for this one, but I think required review really emphasizes what's important about analysis. This is where a lot of businesses tend to not pay too much attention, and I wish that they would. In a space where you are able to track performance and activity at every single level, at the granular level as well as the big picture level, it's important to take stock of that data and read the story in the numbers. There's a story there, believe it or not. You get to understand with deep insights how your business has performed on any given campaign or cycle of work. You get to learn a lot about your consumer, and that information, when crafted properly, when collated properly, helps determine iterations for future workflows and future work cycles. Now that we have our working definition for digital and this understanding of the 4 areas of work in digital strategy, I invite you to go out there and do your own investigation. When I started out, I didn't have many resources to tap into to learn about the digital space, in particular for Caribbean context. I had a lot of reading to do. One book that I recently discovered that I know you'd appreciate is Being Digital by Nicholas Negroponte. This book was published back in 1995, and Mr. Negroponte made a lot of predictions about the digital space that have actually been realized. Now, he's a controversial figure of late, and I encourage you to go and do that investigation. But the book itself is a very important book that I believe anyone in an executive or mid-level management level should investigate, should put a little bit of attention into. It's very useful. Thank you for joining me on this video. I hope you're inspired to go and investigate digital strategy further. There's a lot to discuss and a lot to be explored where digital strategy is concerned for the Caribbean. I'm happy to share my insights with you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And you know what? Share some of these books you've read in the comments below too. Let's build a community of learning. See you next time. Until then, don't forget, in learning, there's a lot to be said. Bye. Now that we know, for consumers, no, that's a load of tripe. Let's go back. What am I saying? Let's go back.